Worcester branch of the Wayne County Public Library, and today I am reviewing Sisters of the Great War by Suzanne Feldman. So if you are looking for a new historical fiction read, especially one set in World War I or with strong female characters, I highly recommend this. If you liked books like The Alice Network or Lilac Girls, you're going to like this too. So this story goes back and forth between two sisters, Ruth and Elise Duncan. It begins in 1914, and the sisters are from a well-to-do family in Baltimore. Ruth is currently in nursing school, but she dreams of becoming a doctor just like her father is. Her dreams are dashed, however, by his insistence that women are nurses, not doctors, and he belittles Ruth's desires. Meanwhile, Elise, the younger sister, she works as a mechanic, but only on her father's car. He doesn't let her branch out and work on anyone else's car because he believes that would not be ladylike. All right, so in an effort to get away from their controlling father and for Ruth to be closer to Dr. John Dowling, whom she may be in love with, more on him in a moment, they actually both volunteered to join the war effort in Europe. So this would have been before the United States even joined in World War I. So Ruth joins as a nurse and Elise joins as an ambulance driver. And they both actually end up stationed in Belgium, close to one another. So Ruth, she really struggles with the war and what it does to the soldiers and, the injuries they sustain both mentally and physically. Every day she sees patients coming in that need limbs amputated, and the doctors aren't able to help as fully as they could if the conditions weren't so appalling. And I will say Suzanne Feldman, the author, does such a great job bringing what it was like on the front to vivid life. The conditions in the medical tents and the state of the makeshift hospitals, as well as the primitiveness of the medical treatment, are all described in great effect. How the wounded survived, given the dirt, lack of antibiotics, and absence of sterile conditions is amazing. And so it's just kind of interesting to learn about that from, that historical point of view. And she definitely did her research when putting this book together. Now, Ruth actually ends up being able to convince one of the male doctors, they're all male, that she works with to let her into the operating room. She explains that she always wanted to be a doctor and that she knows that she, is skilled and could he please help her out. So he does agree. However, there are several other doctors, of course, working who think similarly to her father, and they don't believe that women should be allowed to practice medicine. There's a little bit of drama there. Ruth actually, serendipity, is able to meet up again with John. So John is a doctor. They met through her grandfather back in the United States, and what started out as just friendship, grows into love, and they are the cutest couple. They care for each other so strongly, even when things are bleak. Now, Elise, so remember, she joined as an ambulance driver, and she ends up in an all-female ambulance corps. And what this ambulance corps does is they drive the ambulances to the front lines, pick up the injured soldiers, and then they drive them to those makeshift hospitals. And once her matron realizes that Elise has mechanic skills, she's also given those additional duties to fix any engines that are falling apart or anything else to do with, making sure those ambulances are in tip-top shape. Now, within her group of ambulance drivers, she befriends Hera. Hera is a British girl from a very affluent family, and Hera maybe wasn't as mentally prepared for the horrors of war as she needed to be. And so she was a little ostracized, and but Elise is there for her. They become very close, and but unfortunately, the other women and their matron don't understand the connection they have with each other or the love that begins to grow between Hera and Elise. Now, the most intense moments, which I don't want to give away spoilers, but they come from actual historical fact from when the Germans did bomb some of the makeshift hospitals that were near the front lines. So obviously that's intense and would have been really frightening to live through. So I loved Ruth and Elise, and Hera and John are both wonderful as well. John is such a lovely character. He understands that Ruth wants to be a doctor, and he's encouraging, and he stands up for her when some of his fellow doctors tease both him and Ruth about what she wants to do. And at one point, he even says that he won't marry her until her doctor training is done, because a lot of the schools would not allow women in that were married because of the fear that they would, have a baby and not be able to complete the medical training. So I just think he's a real sweetheart. And then, Hera is wonderful for Elise, and she's a lot of fun. And anyway, overall, I thought this was a fantastic novel. It's not going to make you cry or your heart hurt and despair like some war-based historical fiction does. While tragedy and loss, of course, are not ignored, the book follows the sisters and their lives instead of just the violence of war. So I actually gave it 5 out of 5 stars, which is rare from me. And I very much look forward to reading more from author Suzanne Feldman. All right. I hope you all stay safe. Have a wonderful day.